A retirement calculator can say that you have enough money. It cannot tell you whether you're ready to stop working. These sound like the same question, but they're not. Being able to retire is primarily a financial conclusion. Being ready to retire is a broader judgment about whether the rest of your life is prepared for the change. If you're new here, I'm Eric, and this channel covers topics related to approaching retirement that tend to cause anxiety. My other videos tend to lean a little bit more into the nuts and bolts, but in this video I'm going to talk about a squishier side, the difference between being able to retire and actually being ready to retire. I personally experienced the difference a few years ago. Financial ability comes first. Your expected spending has to be supportable by Social Security, pensions, investments, and any other income. Taxes and large irregular expenses should be accounted for, and healthcare needs a credible plan. The portfolio needs enough margin that retirement doesn't depend on every assumption working perfectly. But once the numbers are reasonable, another set of questions appear. Work provides more than income. It supplies a schedule, deadlines, social contact, status, and a reason to get moving on a Tuesday morning. It may also provide a large part of your identity. When someone asks what you do, the answer for decades has probably been tied to your occupation. It's easy to say that your job isn't your identity, but it becomes a more interesting question once nobody asks what you do. Retirement removes much of that structure at once. That can initially feel liberating, but an empty calendar is not automatically freedom. Everyone feels it in a different way. Without something replacing the useful parts of work, it can become boredom, isolation, or a vague sense that you really should be doing something more productive. A retirement plan needs more than a withdrawal strategy. It should also contain at least one answer better than, I suppose I could organize the garage again. But at the same time, you don't need a color-coded retirement schedule covering every hour. That's just employment with worse benefits. While you don't need a second career or a calendar packed with activities, it does mean that I will finally relax is usually not a complete retirement plan. Vacation is enjoyable partly because it's temporary. Permanent retirement has to work on normal days, including rainy Tuesdays in February when no trip is scheduled. A useful test is to describe an ordinary retirement week. When do you get up? Who do you see regularly? What gets you out of the house? What activities provide challenge, progress, or contribution? Which responsibilities remain? If the only answers are travel and hobbies, the plan probably still is too abstract. Social connection deserves particular attention. Work often creates regular contact with people you would not otherwise see. And even if everyone sincerely intends to stay in touch, many of those relationships will disappear quickly after retirement. The National Institute on Aging notes that social isolation and loneliness are associated with higher risks for several health problems. Retirement itself can be one of the life changes that disrupts social connection. It turns out that casual workplace conversation was providing more social structure than anyone admitted while trying to escape it. You may not miss the meetings, but you might miss having people available to complain about the meetings with. This channel talks about topics people need to know either to prepare for retirement or in retirement. The time around retirement is a set of decision years, thus the channel name. To stay aware of new content, hit the subscribe button. Another form of readiness is learning to spend. A person may spend 40 years saving, avoiding unnecessary expenses, and measuring progress by watching account balances rise. Retirement asks that same person to reverse the process and deliberately draw money out. After spending years being rewarded for not touching the money, retirement asks you to begin touching the money responsibly. A spreadsheet may show that the withdrawals are sustainable, but emotionally they can feel uncomfortable, and a market decline can make that discomfort much stronger. Someone who is financially able to retire may continue working, not because another year is actually necessary, but because earning feels safer than spending. A particular challenge is that someone who is over 50 may still get a twitch when thinking about the dot-com crash, the 2008 real estate bubble, and the market turbulence during COVID. Someone can be forgiven for seeing a financial calculator say, your plan has 95% success rate, but thinking the remaining 5% has been reserved specifically for them. If you're enjoying this video, consider tapping the like button. It helps put the video in front of other people. Operational readiness matters too. The retirement date should not arrive before basic decisions are made. How will health insurance work? When will Social Security and pensions begin? Where will monthly spending come from? Are there major home repairs, family obligations, or moves that are going to be expected during the first few years? Does a spouse or a significant other have the same vision of retirement? These questions don't all need perfect answers. Retirement contains uncertainty just like working life. The goal isn't to eliminate every surprise, it's to avoid discovering that the plan addressed the portfolio but ignored the daily life. There's also no requirement that financial ability and personal readiness arrive on the same date. Someone may be financially independent and choose to work longer because the job remains interesting. Another person may be psychologically ready but need another 2 years to improve finances. Both are legitimate. The warning sign is when one more year becomes a substitute for deciding. If the financial plan keeps improving but emotionally required safety margins keep moving farther away, the unresolved problem may no longer be money. It may be fear of losing identity, routine, or security. One more year syndrome can start as a way to say, I'm not ready, but something can happen when work becomes optional. It often becomes easier, which then may make it harder to leave. A practical retirement decision therefore needs 2 separate reviews. First, ask whether the finances can reasonably support the life you expect. Second, ask whether you've built a life that you're willing to enter. You may stop being a project manager on Friday, but your family may discover that by Monday that project management followed you home. Being able to retire means work is no longer financially necessary. Being ready to retire means that leaving work will not remove the only structure, purpose, and connection holding the rest of your life together. If you have suggestions for other video topics, please let me know in the comments section.